Good morning, my friend, and welcome to the Pastor's Podcast on this January Thursday morning. Good to have you with me as we start out the new year. I hope that you had a great start to your year on yesterday. We had a great service last night to start out our year. We had one saved and baptized in the services. That's a good way to start out your year in church. And I hope that you had a good holiday season. Now we get back into the rhythm of doing what we're supposed to do and getting back to work, getting back to church. We start pushing forward, and I hope that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, that we are going forward in these areas, and that would be a blessing if everybody would just get going forward. That we do what we're supposed to do. And today's a good day to go soul winning. Lead someone to Christ. Get your first soul under your belt. I like to put it that way if you can. And it was even good to see some of the converts in church last night and just seeing what God's doing and growing his church. And now, if we can just get the older Christians to be faithful, we could really, it's amazing what could happen. If everybody just do their part, what could really happen in our churches all across this old world. How we need it. We need people to learn to be faithful to church. And I'm good to see my father-in-law, Brother Heinrich, back in church last night. He's really been struggling. For those who know him, he's had the surgery and just really been struggling with pain and getting everything, the medications right and everything. And it was good to see he and my mother-in-law back in church on yesterday. Not everything that he has been. Hopefully he'll get there. And so you pray for him if you would. I would certainly appreciate that. Well, Nehemiah chapter 3, verse 20. Let's look at that this morning. It says, after him, Baruch, the son of Zabai, earnestly repaired the other piece from the turning of the wall into the door of the house of Elisha, the high priest. Now, one reason the wall was repaired so quickly in Nehemiah's day and under his leadership was because he cared for every detail of the job. 7 times in Nehemiah 3, it is mentioned that a piece was repaired. A piece is nothing big, but it's still important to the building of the wall, just a piece. I mean, if you took these 7 pieces out, you would have spots of weakness that could be a place the enemy could discover and use to destroy the wall and those on the inside. That little piece was critical to the whole wall being finished. Now, details do matter in life, and it is often the tiny details that make the greatest difference in the value of the work. For instance, a little period seems insignificant in a sentence, but when you take the period out, you often not understand what is being said. They call them run-on sentences. The carpenter's work is often determined by the little details. You will only achieve greatness if you pay attention to the details. I've got a man right now who's helping us build our faith building. It's a fellowship hall that we're trying to build, and he's a man of details. I've had carpenters who have worked on our buildings who are not who are far from people of details. Things aren't centered right, things aren't squared, and they finished the work and did a sub-rate job to some degree. And you say you shouldn't say that. I'm just telling you, this details matter. Your finished work, details determines the finished work. Now, caring for the details is critical to living a victorious Christian life. Those details of caring for the little sin can determine how much God can use you. Caring for the details is often what separates the leader from the follower. A leader sees the little details that must be cared for when the follower overlooks them as unimportant. Your ability to achieve in life hinges on whether you care for the details. Now, I want to share with you how someone can become a person who cares for details. First, be aware. You will never care for details if you're unaware of what you're doing and unaware of your surroundings. Pay attention to everything your hand finds to do. The difference between those who care for details and those who don't is that those who care for details are aware of everything. So learn to focus solely on what you are presently doing, and you'll find yourself better at caring for the details of life. Second, don't be careless. The mindset that this little thing does not matter always keeps the important details from being cared for. Too many people are caring. Well, that's not a big deal. It is a big deal. You don't know which detail is important in life. So to overlook a detail because of carelessness always comes back to hurt you. If you do everything right the first time, including caring for the little details, you'll never have a detail come back to hurt you at the wrong time. Third, don't do things at the last minute. Preparation allows us to care for the details. And the reason the details are not cared for is because people are not prepared. So they don't care for the details that they feel are unimportant because of time restraints. They're overwhelmed with what's hitting them right now at the moment. So it simply takes a little planning and starting ahead instead of doing things at the last minute. Preparation allows you to have the time to care for the little details that make a big difference between excellence and average. Now, fourth, make everything important, and the details will be important. Details make the difference in the value of a product. Likewise, caring for the details is what makes the difference in the value of the Christian life or church. If everything you do is considered important, you will never let the details be uncared for, which determines the value of the product you produce for Christ. So the value of the work you do for Christ is often determined by how you care for those little details. So you make everything important, and the details will be important. That's all it takes, just a little bit of effort. Now, so be aware. Stop being so sidetracked with everything else. Be aware of what you're doing, where you are. Be aware of what others are doing around you. You're in an office place. Don't be barging into somebody's place when you see them working. Leave them alone. Be aware of your surroundings. The world's not about you. We've got to look at others around us and understand that we could be hindering somebody else. If everybody just is aware of their surroundings, aware of where they are, we can care for the details. Second, yeah, all I'm saying is don't be careless. Don't listen, spend time preparing and make everything you do important, and everything is going to fall into place. In 2025, we can make this a great year if we become people of details. One of the organizers, people call me an organizer. I'm organized because I care for details. You know how you do organize? You got to look at every detail. I often get spreadsheets, and I start putting down all the way down everything that needs to be done. Then once I get that list, get this now. Now I start organizing that list. I start putting it. Okay, what's the main categories of this? Now let's put this in the order here, and that's part of organization, and that's how you care for things, and that's how things get done. So if everybody becomes organized and everybody does it instead of just flying by the seat of their pants, I'm telling you, we could do a greater work for God because those little details do matter in the work of the Lord. My friend, I'm challenging you this year. Let's make the details big. Be aware. Don't be careless. Plan ahead. Put your mind into what you're doing. Make sure every little thing is cared for. And let me tell you what happens when you do this. You're never overwhelmed because you've prepared ahead. And so when the unexpected happens, you can handle it because you've already planned, you've already accomplished something, and you're not overwhelmed at the last minute. So don't do things at the last minute, and you can get things done. And great things can be done if everybody cares for the details. Well, I hope this is a great help to you today. Now, let's remember today and throughout this year, hey, be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great day, my